Mr President, I rise today to speak on behalf of a community that is far too often overlooked, misunderstood and in some cases outright targeted, the four-wheel drive and motoring enthusiasts of New South Wales. These are blokes and women who spend their weekends navigating some of the toughest terrain in the country, not for the thrill of breaking rules, but for the love of the bush, the freedom of the open track, and yes, often in the support of rural tourism, outdoor education and conservation. They're not running from the rules, they're actually setting the standard. They're the first ones that will pull you out of a bog, lend a spare part or leave a campsite cleaner than they found it. But unfortunately for many of them, the experience of being a responsible vehicle owner is marred by repeated, unnecessary and often uninformed interactions with New South Wales Police, particularly when it comes to traditional registration and engineered vehicles. Let me explain. There is a large and growing community of forward drivers who will store, modify and register old vehicles, the classic Hiluxes, Patrols, Land Cruisers and the like, under the traditional registration scheme. To register one of these vehicles, you don't just slap on a lift kit and call it a day. There's a process. You have engineering reports, compliance with Australian design rules, brake tests, swerve tests, sign-off from qualified certifiers. It's complex, expensive and thorough. But despite that, the owners of these fully compliant legal registered vehicles are being stopped again and again by police who either don't understand the rules or refuse to acknowledge that the vehicle in question is actually legal. In many cases being provided to me, police with clear attitudinal dysfunction try to overrule engineering certificates based on their zero qualification to do so. They've been threatened with red slips, ordered to trailer their vehicles home and in many cases dragged through courts where their compliance is eventually confirmed, but only after unnecessary stress, time and cost. One example is Jake, who runs a landscaping business. His modified Land Cruiser, fully certified with a 50mm lift and approved mods, got defected because an officer claimed the bull bar might be dangerous. Never mind that it was actually engineered to VSB 14 standards and signed off by a bloke with 20 years in the field. Jake is now out of pocket $3,000 in legal fees and lost work, all because some cop decided his bull bar looked scary. So why is this happening? We have a disconnect between what the registration system allows and what frontline enforcement understands. And who pays the price? It's the responsible driver. So when you treat good guys like criminals, don't be surprised when people stop playing by the rules. Imagine you've done everything right, you've got your vehicle certified, your paperwork in order, your logbook entries clean, you head out for a day trip with your family or your mates, only to be pulled over, interrogated, treated like a criminal on the side of the road for hours, not because you've broken the law, but because the person charged with enforcing the law doesn't understand the law that they're enforcing. It's not just a one-off. This isn't an isolated complaint. I've heard this story over and over and over again. Nobody's denying our police do a tough job, and most do it well. But when it comes to specialised areas like modified vehicle compliance, we can't expect every officer on the side of the road to be an automotive engineer, and nor should they overrule decisions of those that are. You wouldn't ask a plumber to do a heart transplant, so why are we asking general police to judge engineering certificates? First, we need better education and guidance for police. There should be a standardised, up-to-date resource that outlines what conditional registration actually allows and what engineering certificates actually mean, and this should be publicly available. We need consistency in how these vehicles are treated. If a certificate has been issued by an authorised engineer and meets the legal standard, then that certificate should carry weight. It should not be subject to roadside reinterpretation or challenged by someone without the necessary qualifications. The registration documents themselves need to be accurate. We've seen cases where conditions are printed incorrectly or important provisions like logbook usage are left out. We need to treat modified vehicle owners with the same respect we give any other road user. These are not dodgy backyard operators. These are people who care deeply about their vehicles, their safety, the integrity of the lifestyle and culture they love. They're not trying to cheat the system, they're the ones holding it up. And finally, this is important, we need to stop discouraging compliance. Every time a fully legal driver is dragged through the ringer for no reason, it sends the message that doing the right thing isn't worth the effort. If the system punishes you for following the rules, what message does that send to everyone else? It undermines the entire point of having a structured system of regulation and engineering in the first place. If we want people to follow the law, we need to make sure the law treats them fairly. Now, this isn't a headline issue, but for the people that SFF represents, it matters, and it speaks to whether a government system serves the public or frustrates them, whether compliance is rewarded or punished. So let's back those who do the right thing. Stop making criminals out of responsible citizens with a passion for the outdoors, because at the end of the day, we should be encouraging people to explore our state and invest in vehicle safety and compliance.